y'all. It looks like even your
Oh yeah. Hello Yassine extras. Shout out to bro.
YourRage, who was popping, y'all. It looks like even YourRage, who's still a part of FaZe. I keep forgetting this guy's doing his own thing. Well, I keep forgetting he's a part of FaZe because he's been doing his own thing for so long, and he doesn't live with those guys. But he's predicted Plaqueboymax leaving FaZe a long time ago, unintentionally. And even now, he's got something to say about it as well, whilst YourRage is still in FaZe. So I'm going to play you guys that clip from months ago when he predicted this coming out. And there was also another person who I think alluded to maybe some reasons why Plaqueboymax would leave damn near a year ago. So I'm going to play you guys that.
Had everybody's names and what they had to do. I see case even everybody had like content they want to do. I did not see YourRage name. All my life I did not see YourRage name. Interesting. But chat gonna get down when I'm not a FaZe clan. Interesting. It's cool. They gonna feel it when they gonna feel it. They gonna feel it when Plaqueboymax get too big for this space. Dip out cause he a rapper now. They gonna feel it. Don't even worry about it.
Well. It looks like they're feeling it right now because Plaqueboymax did get too big for that FaZe stuff. Now, before Plaqueboymax even got in FaZe, I feel like he was already too big for it. Well, as a group, now FaZe is significantly bigger than they were before they got these guys. Kind of like the sum is more than each of his parts. I'm butchering the quote, but hey, it is what it is. You know, I'm just going off of my memory bank. It's not the greatest. Oh, actually, no. It is the greatest. It's the greatest we've got. So FaZe is, like, for example, when you think Kason, you're like, okay, it's FaZe Kason. Who the hell knows a Kason without the FaZe in front of it? Like, it's like Banks. You don't know a Banks. You know FaZe Banks, which isn't any knock on Banks because, hey, that's his brand. So if you're known by your brand, that's good. But Plaqueboymax, I think he was already big. But, however, I don't think Plaqueboymax currently is bigger than FaZe as a group, just because each of those members have really grown with multiple different audiences, too. This is why I do have a respect for how they chose everybody. Like, there was a lot of criticism for when this FaZe group first got brought together, but they're hitting a lot of different marks. Like, Jason the Ween, that dude's got Asians on lock. Now, every young Asian kid is watching him. So they've got that demo. Lacey, Ronaldo, all these other guys, they've got the gamers, or they had the gamers at least, more so Ronaldo. And then you've got YourRage. He's got, I would say, not necessarily the 2K community or what was the 2K community. How alive is the 2K community right now? I remember seeing a video, was it a week or two ago, of So Illuminati not too happy with 2K. That's the person that I really anchor to the 2K community. Granted, I never played NBA 2K. Actually, I don't know.
Wow.
Like, NBA Live 2006, I think, was the last NBA game that I played. So you know I'm
on
not
Xbox is
into that
devious.
community. So now FaZe, they're gone. They're done with Plaqueboymax, and then YourRage gives his comments on this more recently. So I'm gonna play you guys that clip.
I would let y'all know, knowing Max, regardless of anything that went on in FaZe, talking about ownership and the percentages and shit like that, no matter what the case was, it's gonna leave FaZe, bro.
Yeah, well,
you gonna leave FaZe because you want to leave FaZe. Like, it doesn't matter why. Nigga just want, like, you know what I'm saying? And he gonna be successful. He gonna be successful, bro. You know
it was only a matter of time. It just ran its course unexpectedly.
He just gonna leave FaZe. I don't want to hear about no bank chat. I don't want to hear about no ownership chat. I don't hear about nothing. Who was gonna leave eventually, gang? Like,
yeah, what?
You feel me?
You right, my fault, gang. These robots.
So here, YourRage is like, yeah, this guy was gonna leave. It was only a matter of time, and he doesn't seem too upset about it. YourRage doesn't seem like a guy that really gets angry about much of anything. I think the only times I've seen YourRage frustrated was when he was trying to have a conversation with Sneeko, or it turned into a debate. I think he thought he was going to have a conversation, and then it ended up turning into a debate, and he got frustrated. But other than that, the guy's usually just like performing on camera. He's living his life. The guy lives in Florida. The rest of those guys are in LA, so he's on a completely different coast from the rest of FaZe. And I do think that this Plaqueboymax leaving does have an effect, because even Silky was saying that he's considering moving back to New York because he doesn't feel like LA is really popping for him, and the type of content that he creates and the people that he wants to collaborate with are closer to the East Coast, like the people that he's more comfortable with. Because I do think like Silky is repping FaZe hard. Am I tripping, or does he have it tatted on him? But he's like, yo, this FaZe stuff is forever. Me, I don't know about anything that's forever that I don't own. Well, if it's true that they gave him ownership, then yeah, you might hop on that forever stuff. But if I didn't make something, ain't no such thing as forever. But some people think Max was gonna leave because it was ego. I don't think it was. It's growth. Some people are going to grow big enough that they have to leave. Like, let's just say, for instance, like college athletes, right? Someone comes onto a college team, they're killing it. They've got the opportunity to go to the draft, and they know they're going to be a top pick. Are they going to go to the draft and go to the NBA, or are they going to stay on that college team? No, they've done what they had to do at that college team. It served them. They served it. And now it's time for them to go on to the next level and make a name for themselves in the bigger leagues. Same thing with Plaqueboymax. Now, FaZe Clan is at the top of the leagues for streaming, and people have been comparing FaZe to AMP. And when you think of streaming groups, AMP is really at the top. And people are saying like, yo, what's going on with AMP summer? This really ain't that lit. And summer is prime time for these guys' audiences, high school, college, hell, maybe even middle school audiences. I think I'm going to have hope and believe that the elementary school audiences are still watching Roblox and Minecraft YouTubers and streamers and not
Fingers
into
crossed.
these types of streamers. That's a little bit too old for them or a little bit past their age group. Middle schoolers, the baddest kids are in middle school. Man, I was a terrible, terrible kid in middle school. Not terrible as in, listen, we don't care about me. Let's get back to topic. So here, maybe the reason is what everyone's focused on. I don't think people are upset that Max left FaZe. I think people are wondering, why did you leave FaZe? And that brings in our friend, Dave Bluntz, close friend of Ye, writer of the song Cousins. And he had the following to say about Max about a year ago, or was it earlier this year? Let me play that for you guys right now.
And then he asked me to be Santa. And then I'm like, I don't know. I'm not gonna be phased out Santa Claus. What are you talking about? And then he went on his stream and he said some wild shit, bro. Said some wild shit. He was like, yeah, FaZe members came to me and said they wanted a black Santa so they can do all types of Diddy frat boy to him. Who? Me? Nah. You can't be talking about me. I know you're trying to me. I don't play those games, bro. What are you talking about? They said he was gonna try to sit on his lap and do all types of Diddy frat boy shit. Like, what are you talking about? And this shit goes deeper is because it's like he was like, I don't know why they asked me. Why do you think they asked you? You're black. I'm black. They know they can't come to me as white boys, but like, hey, bro, come on, let's do Diddy frat boy shit. It's like you're not even realizing this shit's deeper than what you think. I'm not.
So here, Dave Bluntz, who had previously appeared on a Plaqueboymax stream, and in the
that's a little rough. Like he said, you know, Dave Bluntz was on Plaqueboymax's stream before, so he out of the entire group of FaZe has the strongest connection to Dave Bluntz, so it makes sense. It also makes sense because he looks closer to Dave Bluntz, right? He falls into the category of that style of person, by being black. At the same time, we're not gonna sit here and act like most streamers don't be doing, you know, the frat boy Diddy stuff. Just in general, like Aiden was one of the first people to ever like start doing that. Like when he used to try and sit on Zeus and do all that extra stuff. Like it's been around. Like we're not gonna sit here and act like they were actually gonna like try and strip Dave Bluntz down while he was Santa Claus and like start smacking and rubbing jelly on his belly or something. Like we're not gonna act like that was what was gonna go down. But at the same time, it does sound crazy to say it like that, right? And I understand him not wanting to participate in that, because me personally, if I was fat, I wouldn't want to participate in it either, because that's just not my brand. That's not my style of content. That's just not me. That's not my personality. I'm a jokey person sometimes. And if you see me in certain settings, you see me playing video games, I'm completely different when I'm talking about it, when I'm on the game, talking to certain homeboys or talking about my performance in the game or talking about somebody else being terrible at the game compared to like me reacting to something. The way I speak, the words that I use, all that sort of stuff's different. But at the same time, even in those zones, I don't gear towards that. So I can understand Dave Bluntz being like, yo, I just don't fit that mold. That's just not me. That's just not in me. That makes sense. But at the same time, I don't think it should be viewed as disrespect that they should ask you, because they asked you because you're fat and black, right? They wanted a black Santa Claus. Santa is by proxy fat, and you are one of the biggest birds. So it made sense that they would ask you because you're one of the first people that was at the time really popping. You were socially relevant. People knew you. When you think of heavyset black people at the time, Dave Bluntz is right at the list. Now, you don't have a beard, right? So they have to give you a fake beard, but they were going to do that anyways, because I don't know too many black guys that have a white beard. But I mean, it made sense that they would ask you because you were socially relevant. You were popping. You had clout at the time. There weren't too many people that had that style of clout to fit that niche request. It was Dave Bluntz. So I don't think he should view it as disrespect. I can understand how it could be, but me personally, in those shoes, I'm not seeing it that way.
Booth. He was invited to come back for a FaZe Christmas stream, and they wanted him to play Santa Claus. And they urged Plaqueboymax to invite him, and they said that they wanted to play Diddy games, which is crazy to say at the time. Granted, keep in mind, when this was going on, Diddy's trial had not started. So we thought Diddy games was a lot crazier than it is. Granted, what Diddy was doing is still
Diddy's
crazier
games
than
are
we
absolutely
all could have
nefarious.
imagined. But it's not as crazy as the accusations initially were, especially with that.
No. I'm gonna disagree with this, because the accusations were wild, but we were like, oh, come on, it can't actually be that bad. When the case actually started, and you started hearing some of the stories that were coming out, we were like, hold on, time out. You're kidding me. This is not in writing. This is not in a court document. You're playing, right? because some of that stuff is just like completely outlandish. But some of the stuff that people were saying before, was what they were saying crazier? I guess, yeah, you're right. It was crazier. But nobody bought the fact that like that was actually happening. They thought there was some crazy stuff going on, but some of the stories that people were saying was just so outlandish. It's like, dude, are you serious? Keep it a buck. Just wait till the court hearing comes out, bro. Wait till the documents drop, bro. Wait till the witness interviews and all the testimonies come in, bro. Like, that's what that was.
Disgusting Lil Rod lawsuit. And you got clowns like Candace Owens citing as if it has any validity to it whatsoever. It's really kind of crazy when you know what's going on with something, and then you see someone from a different side of the internet, you could say, talking about it, and you know it's complete BS, and you think, whoa, is this what genuine experts feel like when people claim to know how to heal cancer by like rubbing avocado oil on your chest like it's Vicks, or it's like something Dr. Sebi would say? I guess that's the frustration
all
that
right,
they must
calm
feel.
down on
And then
Dr.
you get it,
Sebi
and you're
now.
like, whoa, no wonder why they're so against those kooks just saying random stuff.
Let's back to, we lost the plot a little bit. Lock me back in. Granted, there are some, I don't think Dr. Sebi was a great example for that one. I think actual people, like, I thought you were going to go like the witch doctor route, or like people, the avocado oil on the chest like it was Vicks was a very good example. But we're not going to act like the healthcare system, particularly of the United States variety, is meant to heal people. Right? It's subscription based. I mean, the FDA doesn't actually do anything useful. They just block certain stuff and let other stuff slide as they please, and it can be very easily paid off to let things slide and to falsify information. You have doctors that are falsifying studies. For example, not to get too deep into this because I don't want to have any beef with anybody, but like, you could take it a step further and say, for example, when they say toothpaste, 9 out of 10 doctors recommend it's toothpaste, right? Well, doctors only get money when you go for your routine cleaning or when you have something wrong with your teeth. So why, depending on who the doctor is, and if the doctor actually cares about you and your teeth, right? In theory, in a perfect world, in a vacuum, right? Let me go full screen. Let me go full screen and talk to y'all. In a vacuum, right? Yes. 9 out of 10 dentists or doctors recommending a medication or a particular style of toothpaste, that would be perfect. But we don't live in a vacuum. We don't live in an ideal world. We don't live in a utopia. The Americas is anything but. We are the most advantaged out of all countries, but we are not the most fair and honest out of all countries. So understanding that, right? If somebody sat there with that idea in the back of their mind, it only makes sense that they would go that far. It only does. Now, call me crazy. You could disagree. Respectfully. But it's kind of like asking somebody, you ask the person that provides a service that is counter to what would be the problem. So yes, of course I would recommend a certain style of toothpaste if it's going to eventually end up leading to you having to come to me to make sure something gets fixed, right? It's the same reason why furniture and stuff and just household appliances and items used to last a lot longer. But businesses realize it's not a sustainable model, because if I can sell you one table and that table lasts you your entire life, you're only going to buy one table from me. I only get to make money from you one time. And it's only but so many people that I can sell a table to before everybody has tables, right? So what do? You make slightly flimsier, cheaper, faultier products. And when that happens, congratulations, you have a return customer. Or maybe, it's so cheaply to upscale a bit, but they don't have the money to really upscale to the best product. So like, you know what, just this one looks a little bit better. Let me get this one. It's not going to last them forever, right? It might just last them a stage of life. And then they have to come back and get a new table, get a new bed frame, whatever the case may be. And that's just how the system of economics works. So I just sat there and talked myself around a circle. I apologize if you made it this far. Keep watching. But we're not going to act like the healthcare system is chef's kiss, always on the mark. They haven't been. For Pete's sake, throughout history, we've notoriously been known to accept and put numerous things inside of products that we put on our bodies and ingest ourselves that have, after time, all of a sudden, different studies tell us, oh yeah, that was actually like toxic to us, or like that was actually like really, really bad for our health. That actually like was decaying our bodies on the inside. It's like, really? And nobody wanted to call it out before? Sure. Beauty standards and whatnot. Shout out to my women's. You feel what I'm saying?
I remember when NLE Choppa was saying he had BBL cream.
Oh yeah, that
Yo,
was
that was
crazy.
so funny. So perhaps
Yeah, you're
Dave,
right about that.
Dave Blunts, when he was talking about it, maybe Plaqueboymax started looking at it like, huh, am I being used in this way? Which I don't think that was the case. I don't
Facts.
think FaZe put Plaqueboymax in any type of situation that compromised him, and I don't think he would allow that to happen. If there was anybody I would say that would be the most sensitive to that, it would be Silky. I think Silky's less willing to go into something that's embarrassing or he wouldn't align with than Max. I think Max is more so like flexible with certain things, not flexible like the zesty type of definition of flexible. Flexible as in willing to, explore more things.
Facts.
Even no matter what way you try to say it, it still comes out kind of sounding
Sounds kinda
zesty.
crazy.
Explore.
Yeah.
What the hell? But the problem is right now with a group like FaZe is this could be the toppling domino because it's just going to fragment. The only reason groups can exist and people can be invested in them is if the people within the group are actively together, collaborating and doing stuff. It could be digital, sure, and a lot of it starts as digital and then they go in real life. But like I said, for example, Plaqueboymax, he's gone now. YourRage, he's in Florida. Silky, he might leave and go to New York. Jason the Ween, he kind of does a lot of the stuff on his own, like solo. And then you've got Ronaldo and Lacey who do a bunch of stuff together. Kason, I think he does some stuff with them. I know I'm forgetting some member right now, but it is what it is. But I'm saying
Is
if
he?
Silky goes to New
I
York,
think
they're
he
really
is.
not going to collaborate that much. These guys aren't gaming streamers for the most part. They're not really desktop streamers like that. So that
Yeah.
leaves Stable, Ronaldo, and Lacey, and then maybe like they're like, yo, it's just us two now. Now it just becomes a duo. And then if people aren't actively doing content with each other, the group just dies. It's just people just won't associate it as a group. It's a group by title, but not by activity. It's like when the Migos were trying to recreate the feeling for Culture 3. It's like, yo, you guys just spent 2 years being solo artists, doing your own thing. We saw you guys come up together. We saw you guys get in fights together, get arrested together. Every single time we saw you, it was together. So if you want to restore the feeling of a group, you guys have to be together all the time. And that may be difficult because they each had their own relationships and stuff like that and their own careers. They obviously made a ton more money solo, but people don't believe you're a group if you just do music together. Like, it has
Facts.
to be more than the music. And it goes
That's a
back to good
great
music, for
analogy.
instance.
Hold
Like
on,
early
he ate.
2010s, good music. You saw Big Sean, 2 Chainz, Ye. These guys were all together. And who else? Pusha T even. Now, not everybody was signed to Good Music, but Good Music was a crew.
Yeah,
you
everybody
had
was
Good
like all in
Fridays.
the same
We saw them
niche.
paparazzi pics of them together. We saw photos of them in the studio. We saw them working together when Ye and Jay were doing Watch the Throne. It's more than just a title of like, yo, this is the throne. It's just me and Jay. Well, if we haven't seen you and Jay together in a year or two, is it really still the throne or is it just Jay and Ye? And that's why I think Plaqueboymax, if Silky does end up going to the other side of the coast, now you've got fragments. I think it might be the first of a couple of dominoes, and it may be a slow effect for it to spread before FaZe doesn't die, but the feeling that they had falls apart. But let me know what
Yeah.
y'all think about that in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell
Adapt.
if you enjoyed,
Adapt is the
and
one
I'll
that
see
he
you on the
forgot.
next one.
I'm not gonna lie. WVid, he brings up a good point with Silky Chana wanting to leave FaZe. I think in that event, there's a world where obviously most of the people that Silky ends up collabing with or like just being in a group with, or not even being in a group with, just the most people that he associates with are New York style streamers, right? Now, one of the exceptions, obviously for me personally, was him streaming, or a lot of times his connection with YourRage, because I was a big YourRage watcher. YRG to the end of time, you feel what I'm saying? But Silky was brought to my attention by Rage. So aside from him, like everybody else that I know that really regularly or occasionally talks about him, besides maybe nowadays, I guess Senna, it's always been New York style artists or New York style like content creators. So the thought process of it being somebody that's not from that niche just doesn't really make sense for him. Now, the FaZe boys, again, I think the closest one that he was to was probably Plaqueboymax. He has his connection with the other boys. You know, he's got a connection with Jason and the rest of those boys. But for the most part, we're not going to see that same level of bond between the boys. And I think that's kind of out the window. You're going to have to revamp soon. You're going to have to find somebody else. The question becomes, who do you replace these guys with? Because they did bring FaZe back. FaZe before was known as like the more so on the video game side of things, and then it just kind of died out as far as everything else because you had a laundry list of people that were, FaZe members, but nobody knew their names. You said, oh yeah, it's FaZe so-and-so. Who? Like you just didn't know. So the thought process that now they're going to have to like replace the productivity of Max. Like FaZe is a whole massive, like he said, Jason really knocking things out. Lacey and Ronaldo together is an interesting duo, and it's funny sometimes. even though it's not, my humor always, they're still wildly popular and it still works a lot of times. And even I find myself like occasionally tuning in just to see what the boys got going on. I lean more towards Silky, like out of the remaining members, and obviously like YourRage, but Rage is really just like his own beast in himself. Like Rage is a powerhouse in and of itself the whole time. And then you have Max, you know what I'm saying? So there's a bunch of different guys that, and to their credit, right? They've all grown since joining FaZe and them being around each other. They've kind of commingled audiences and stuff like that. But for the most part, you're not going to see a world where they stay in that same, like they hold relevance like AMP has been able to, or RDC has been able to, if Silky leaves, or not even leaves, if he goes to New York, because he's not going to be able to do content with them all the time. So you're going to have Rage. When you think of Rage, you don't think of FaZe YourRage. You think of YourRage. You think YRG Rage. That's Rage, boy. That's not FaZe Rage. That's Rage. You think of FaZe Adapt, right? Because Adapt's just stood the test of time. That's different. But he's watched all the different, I almost said phases of FaZe. Yeah, you can say that. He's watched all the different phases of FaZe. So he's been through it all. He's seen history, repeat itself, not repeat itself, just all sorts of things. So seeing Max go probably struck a chord in all of them. But by and large, I would expect to see some more interesting storylines come out of this, as far as like people. There might even be a slew of people that say, yo, since everybody's leaving FaZe, I want to join FaZe, and some people like trollishly drop their applications and say that what they want to be a part of. I could see that happening next. But we'll see though. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that can go on there, and I don't want to dabble and predict too much because I don't know too much. You feel what I'm saying? But we'll find out soon enough. But WVid, you seen?